The nature and rules of Hedy. For a Hedy is a sacrifice brought to the Haram area to be slaughtered in order to approach the mercy of Almighty Allah or to atone for a committed crime or one for which the animal itself or its value is sent. This includes a sheep that is at least 1 year old, as well as a lamb that has reached 6 months of age and appears to be 1 year old. It may also be a camel that has reached 5 years of age, or a cow that has reached 2 years of age. Male and female animals of these types are equally acceptable. The qualities required for sacrificial animals apply equally to these as well. A sheep used as a sacrifice is called a dam, while a camel or cow used as a sacrifice is called a bedene. The best Hedy is a bedene. 49. The designation of an animal as a Hedy is either explicit or implied. For example, a sheep purchased for Hedy and sent to Mecca is explicitly considered a Hedy. A sheep for which one has sincerely intended in one's heart to be a Hedy, or a sheep or camel sent to the Haram area to be slaughtered without the intention of being a Hedy, is considered a Hedy by implication. 50. Riding the Hedy. Animal or loading it with a burden is not permissible unless absolutely necessary. This is contrary to the respect due to it. Therefore, if there is a diminution in its value, one must give the amount of that diminution as charity. 51. One must not drink the milk or eat the meat of a Hedy sacrifice, even if it is a sacrifice whose meat and milk would otherwise be permissible to consume. She tries to stop the milk flow by washing her udders with cold water. If this would harm the animal, it should not be done. In this case, the milk is given to the poor as charity. If the owner of the sacrificed animal benefits from the milk or gives it to the wealthy, they must give its value, cost, to the poor as charity. 5.2. Just as it is permissible to give the div the exact same item as charity when something is donated for the sake of Allah, it is also permissible to give its value, or, according to one narration, its equivalent as charity. Accordingly, if a person designates a specific sheep from his flock as a Hedy, he may send its value or its equivalent to the holy sanctuary as a Hedy. 53. If a gift sent as a supererogatory act is stolen or dies along the way, it is not necessary to send another in its place. If it was sent as an obligatory act, another must be sent in its place. If it is found to be excessively defective, one must give charity equal to the value of the defect. However, if the owner of the Hedy sacrifice is poor, then this defective Hedy is sufficient. Furthermore, if it is slaughtered in the Haram and its meat is stolen before the charity has been given, it is nitrogen monoxide longer necessary to slaughter another one, because the obligation has already been fulfilled. 5.4 as mentioned earlier, the Hedy sacrifice within the Haram area is obligatory for both the Tametu Hajj and the Qiran Hajj. It is sufficient for it to be of the sheep species. These sacrifices may be performed on the first, second, and third days of the festival. However, performing it on the first day is more meritorious. Since this is a sacrifice of thanksgiving, the owner may also eat some of the meat. There is merit in distributing the remainder to the poor in Mecca. 55. Every type of sacrificial animal slaughtered in the Haram as a voluntary offering during the Hajj season is considered a Hedy. Their owners may eat the meat of these animals. 5.6. Sacrificial animals slaughtered as punishment or expiation for crimes related to the Hajj, committing prohibited acts, are also considered Hedy. However, their owners, spouses, parents, and children may not eat the meat of these animals. This is because these penalty sacrifices are considered equivalent to zakat, vow sacrifices, and fitra charity. If they do eat the meat, they must give the equivalent value as charity to the poor. 5.7. When sacrificial animals of the bedene type, camels and cattle, are offered for supererogatory, nafil, vow, adak, tamatu hajj, or Qiran Hajj, it is recommended to mark them with a sign to indicate that they are designated for sacrifice. This sets a good example for others. However, such a mark should not be placed on sacrifices offered as penalty or expiation. This is because ITEs appropriate to keep these matters confidential rather than to make them public. 5.8. The place where Hedy sacrifices are to be performed is, without exception, the Haram area of Mecca. Slaughtering them in Mina is not a requirement. IT is a sunnah. However, a voluntary Hedy animal that has been injured during the journey may be slaughtered along the way. In this case, the owner may not consume the meat. The entire animal must be given as charity. This is because the owner's ability to eat the meat is conditional upon the animal reaching the Haram.